Wells only and his guests are not responsible for any losses you may accrue for having weak hands. Where the haters at? Yeah, bitches still ain't showed up. And now, right, we got Hex, flawless uptime. People thought this was a joke. Now they're mad at the chart. This is Wales Only. Glad you guys can make it out. I'm making some claims that are pretty outlandish, but I can back them up. Boom. End of story. There is no other crypto out there, so don't get it twisted. If you don't understand where you're parking your money, you're gonna pay the consequences for that, and that's just how the cookie crumbles. Boom. We're obliterating everybody, literally. There is nobody else that comes close to what Hex has done. Boom. Oh, it's about to get funky. Funkier than you could have ever imagined. You know, Richard Hart is a boss. Hex is literally the best thing on the planet. It's simple mathematics. Right? The reality is that I want to be rich as fuck. There's only one way to be rich as fuck. That's by sitting on your ass the longest. Yep. That's it. Yep. That's the secret. The Godwell told you. Richard done told you. I done told you. Kareem done told you. Maddie done told you. Everybody done told you. Everybody done told you. These motherfuckers still acting like they don't know. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
100% safe. There's plenty of games left.
Valiant done told you. Yo, everybody said it. I mean, hey, you know what it is, man? Everybody done told you. Yash D, everybody. My God. Ex-Asians, bro. Everybody. Australians, man. Everybody gets me. Yo, when is it told you? Dollar told you. Everybody done told you. It's crazy. What's going on, fam? And happy Wednesday to all. I don't even know, man. It's just, I really hope people are paying attention. As we sit here in mid-January 2024, in New York, it is 22 degrees Fahrenheit, and it feels like single digits outside. However, what you're going to hear from all the politicians and the cronies is that the climate is not being itself. It's doing different stuff, apparently. Now, it seems pretty regular to me in terms of January weather. Maybe some more snow would be nice, but you know how that goes. Beggars cannot be choosers. But anyway, point being, everything is supposed to be burning and boiling and whatnot. And, you know, there are people that really, really believe that idea. You know, I don't honestly know how they think they're still alive and are able to think that. But that's the level of stupidity we find ourselves having to deal with in the 21st century. And the reason being is because people do not actually educate themselves, right? I guess the mental inventory is just not really checked after high school for most people. I don't know. I mean, when you sit there and look at your life, whether it works out or not, in terms of stress, financial stress, or whatever stress, because stress is the killer, right? Stress is what you don't want to have to deal with, because stress is it's a thing. It's not a good thing. Um, and you know, everything that is thrown at you is literally to impose the stress on you one way or the other, right? And this is why you guys got to know what's going on, right? That's one of the reasons why I share all this. I'm sharing all this information, um, to basically give you guys different perspective, different things to think about, different things to talk about, right? Because if you're always talking about the same stuff, how much are you really learning? How much are you really progressing, right? So the idea is to just help you expand, because I expand along with you. We're doing this together. So, keep an open mind, try to understand what's going on, what they're trying to do. Because again, they're not hiding anything. They're doing all this stuff in your face, man. So, um, be advised, because they're not hiding anything. They're really not. Um, and that's important, to really understand, right? Because if they're not hiding anything, then you should probably pay attention. Um, and that's important. And just like yesterday, we got a bunch of videos to look at today. So I'm just teeing them up here. Let's see here. Yeah, and it's just it's a lot, man. It's a lot. And if you're not seeking information, you're not gonna find it. Very simply put. And the idea is that here are some tidbits of what's going on, basically, right? Because there's so much going on that how can you really pick one thing? I mean, there's a ton of stuff. Um, this should be funny. Yeah, we should see this. I mean, there's a lot of good stuff happening, just like there's a lot of bad stuff happening, and that's the idea, right? Understand that while there is uh, negativity out there, there is also positivity. So be advised, because just like there's ups, there's downs, right? And there's just so much going on everywhere. I don't even know. It's hard to start in one place. Um, oh wow, crazy. It's like every actor is a pedo. It's like you got to be one to be an actor. It's crazy. It is crazy. And I'm basing that on some headline I just saw. It's like, wow. No, that's nothing. All right, we're almost done here, guys. I just want to make sure I got a good, solid set of videos. Um, all right. Okay, guys, we're gonna get into it. We're gonna get into it. We're gonna start off with everybody's favorite bad guy. Jesus. As always, let me know if you guys can hear. Do a quick sound check.
If you look, just you've got this great hand, but when people
let me know if you guys heard that, and then we'll get started. Thank y'all as always. Cool. Let's do it. Listen to what this criminal has to say.
say MAGA, they're actually looking at people voting for Trump, and they think they're voting, and they're basically scapegoating them that you are like him. But I don't think they're voting for Trump because of his family values. Now, if you look, just take a step back, be honest. He was kind of right about NATO.
While wearing his Ukraine pin.
Kind of right about immigration. Mm-hmm. He grew the economy quite well.
China virus.
Tax reform worked. Mm-hmm. He was right about some of China. I don't like what he did.
No, I said China virus.
Yeah, I understand. He may have been right. And I don't like how he said things about Mexico. I don't like, but he wasn't wrong about some of these critical issues. And that's why they're voting for him. And I think people should be a little more respectful of our fellow citizens. And when you guys have people up here, you should always ask the why. Not like it's a binary thing. You're supporting Trump, you're not supporting Trump. Why are you supporting
Trump? It's hard to hate 75 million of your fellow Americans.
I agree.
It's done crazy.
And, the Democrats have done a pretty good job with the deplorables, hugging onto their Bibles and their beer and their guns. I mean, really, can we just stop that stuff and actually grow up and treat other people with respect and listen to them a little bit?
It's like the MK Ultra just like wore off. It's fucking crazy.
I do think the economy will affect, and I think this negative talk about MAGA is going to hurt Biden's election campaign.
Yeah. Ooh, I saw nothing but tweets about this all day. I didn't know this is what the dude said. I mean, this is some damning shit coming from this guy. But this is the same guy that shit talking Bitcoin while buying it. So what are you going to do? It's probably slam dunking Trump some way, somehow behind his back while he's talking positively in front of CNBC right now. London is suffering from a sudden wave of robberies and attack. The police did an undercover operation to figure out who was doing it. Turns out none of the suspects are Brits. Let's see what's going on. I hate these multimedia, whatever.
Officers posed as inebriated and wealthy targets with expensive timepieces. The footage shows gang members approach undercover officers late at night and strike up a conversation before surrounding and attempting to rip the luxury watches from their wrists. As backup arrives, the criminals attempt to run before being tasered and tackled to the ground. Officers posed as inebriated and wealthy targets with expensive timepieces.
Now,
the footage shows gang
I'm gonna call bullshit on this,
undercover officers.
And I'm gonna tell you why. Now, I'm gonna call bullshit on that because didn't your mama tell you not to talk to fucking strangers? Like, really? That's news? I mean, if that's really what people are doing and getting away with in terms of crime in the UK, then my God, you guys got bigger problems out there than the actual crime. There is no helping that society if that's actually how simple it is to fucking jack somebody out there. That's sad.
I'm glad to hear it. It's been great.
Are you Canadian?
Of course I am.
Are you part of the fucking opposition? Are you?
I don't know how to phrase that.
You got like fucking.
Well, I did want to ask you.
Did you vote for Trudeau?
I'm not going to say.
And let me tell you something right now. If a man says he's not going to say, like, if you ask a motherfucker, did you vote for Biden? He's like, oh, I'm not going to say. That's none of your business. He voted for fucking Biden.
Sean, I'm glad you got great experience.
So this is what I'm talking about, guys. The enemy of Canada.
That's what it's got to be. It's got to be. We've got a pretty supportive gay and lesbian community in this city. I did want to ask you about something you wrote a couple of years ago. You said if I had a gay son, I would think I'd.
Oh, look, another. I'm saying in the swamp, you guys, a swamp.
You become a champion, you become a star, and someone.
Let me ask you something. Are you gay?
I had the chance
No,
to
are
interact with a more diverse.
are you? Let me. Are you gay?
Can I get an answer?
Well, I'm asking. This is a part of. Are you a gay man?
I'm an ally of the community.
Okay. If you had a son and he was like, you had a son he was gay, you'd be like, oh man, you don't want a grandkid?
No problem with it.
Oh man, well you're a weak fucking man, dude. You're part of the fucking problem. You elected Justin Trudeau. Like when he sees the bank accounts, like you're just fucking pathetic. And the fact that you have no fucking backbone and has to shut down your fucking country and seize bank accounts, you ask me some stupid shit like that, go fuck yourself. Move the fuck on, man.
Really, that doesn't really answer the
coward.
question, but I did want to ask also things you said about the trans community. You said this past October when they announced the Bud Light sponsorship that you'd go so hard on Bud Light in your next fight, they'll have to accept me or denounce me when they know what will know what they stand for.
This guy's like, hey, this Canadian's not that Canadian.
Are you still going to use your fight time to kind of speak on that?
Here's the thing about Bud Light. 10 years ago, to be trans was a mental fucking illness. And now all of a sudden, people like you have fucking weaseled your way in the world. You are an infection. You are the definition of weakness. Everything that is wrong with the world is because of fucking you. And the best thing is the world's not buying it. The world's not buying your fucking bullshit you're fucking peddling. The world is not saying, you know what? You're right. Fucking chicks have dicks. The world's not saying that. The world's saying, no, there are two genders. I don't want my kids being taught about, who they could fuck in school. I don't want my kids being taught about, their sexual preference. Like, dude, this guy is the fucking enemy. You want to look at the fucking enemy to our world? It's that motherfucker right there. Asking me stupid fucking questions. Sorry, I told the UFC I was being nicer. Lance, am I so good at this? Did I cross any lines? Hello, what the fuck? I didn't say the F word. You just brought this fucking guy in here to piss me off.
Cold, hard facts were spoken. Let's check in with the reptiles. Hold on. That's out of order. Yeah, way out of order. What's up?
Acclimate the team to not only endure but perform. So, looking forward towards Detroit. The weather has been a factor in some of the playoff games, even for the most prepared teams today.
Be advised, the Bucks are going to play the Detroit Lions, who have played in the Dome forever. Let's listen in.
It's 13 in Detroit, which doesn't compare to some of the temperatures in the top two. Any special plans to acclimate the team to not only endure but perform in those kind of frigid temperatures should you face them in Detroit?
You do know we play indoors, right? They got a dome. I don't. No, nothing planned. We're indoors, and we only have to be outside for 20 seconds, getting off the bus, going under the thing, so we'll be okay.
Looking forward towards Detroit. The weather.
I mean, come on, man. Come on. Oh my God. All right. Back to a little reality.
All right. Anyway, it's a decision of one man to launch a wholly unjustified and brutal invasion of of Ukraine. All right. Anyway, 75.
And they can just laugh at it. It's pure comedy. No worries, folks. Just a few million people dead, including probably some of your relatives or homies.
I'm not laughing. And I'm guessing nor the families of the thousands of American troops and the hundreds of thousands of Iraqis who died in that war.
Yeah. But hey, it's all good. It's just what they do. Let's check these fools out. Medical officer reveals Rona vaccine related heart issues skyrocketing in active duty naval officers. Let's listen in.
So in July, Undersecretary Cisneros acknowledged the DMED data, the database working properly, and also acknowledged things such as myocarditis rising 151%. So what I did, I went in today, I'm doing the same thing, 5-year average. However, I'm comparing it to 2022, and I only am using fixed wing pilots and helicopter pilots, active duty. So we get hypertensive disease, 36%, ischemic heart disease, 69%, pulmonary heart disease, 62%, heart failure, 973%, other forms of heart disease, 63%, cardiomyopathy, 152%. So in July, Undersecretary Cisneros acknowledged the DMED data.
Those were crazy statistics. I hope you guys caught them. Let's keep going.
The song Shake It Off was about how I shed my skin every 1,000 years. And the song Bad Blood was about how I drink blood out of my Grammys.
A toast to blood. Save some blood for Paul Rudd.
Song Shake It Off.
Kids and animals always know. Always. Remember that. Now let's listen in to this disgruntled normie.
Why is everything so damn expensive? 4 years ago, my rent was $1,200 a month at a luxury apartment complex. It is now $2,100, not even including utilities. I went to the grocery store yesterday, right, and got 3 bags of chips, some ground turkey, and some vegetables, and it was $67! What? My car insurance from 4 years ago until now, with no tickets, no wrecks, no nothing on my driver's record, has gone from $130 to $240 per month. 3 years ago, my electric bill was averaging $45. Now it's averaging $125. You go and get a tank of gas once a week, and you're dropping $70. I mean, a guy can't even buy a can of dip for less than $8. $8 for a can of dip? What the fuck is going on?
When normies start understanding there's a problem, that's a good thing. Now let's listen into the criminals.
Avoid the worst consequences of this crisis. That, you know.
And just to preface this, understand that these people don't give a fuck. So if they don't give a fuck, what do you think you should be doing? Let's listen in.
It's absolutely critical that we accelerate. I am convinced beyond any doubt that because of the decisions being made in the marketplace now, because, I mean, you know as well as I do, even if, you know, I don't want this, obviously, but if you wound up with a different president who was opposed to climate crisis, I got news for you. No one politician anywhere in the world can undo what is happening now. The marketplace is doing this. And the only issue for all of us is not whether or not we can get or will get to a low carbon, no carbon economy globally. We will. The only question is, will we get there in time to meet the challenge of the scientists in order to avoid the worst consequences of this crisis? That is what is at stake. You know, it's absolutely critical that we predict we will have the first ice-free sea ice, which is melting at a rate that the Arctic Ocean now increasingly is exposed. In 5 years, scientists predict we will have the first ice-free Arctic summer. We have sea ice, which is melting at a rate that the Arctic Ocean now increasingly is exposed. In 5 years, scientists predict we will have the first ice-free Arctic summer.
How'd that work out? Yeah. So as you guys can see, this is a total manipulation. Hands down, no opinion required. Proof is in the images, in the video, in the data. Let's listen in to what, now, okay. I want to preface this by saying that it's important that we understand when somebody's playing a role in the movie that is called This Show. Because if this gentleman means any of this, then going by past actions, his life should be short-lived here soon. So let's listen in. Because everybody's acting like this guy's Jesus, but I'm not buying it at all. Jew lovers never rock with the truth. There's always an agenda, and it's just the way it is. Nobody should prefer one group of people over everybody else. So, let's listen in.
Given the dismal failure of collectivist models and the undeniable advances in the free world, socialists were forced to change their agenda. They left behind the class struggle based on the economic system and replaced this with other supposed social conflicts which are just as harmful to life as a community and to economic growth. The first of these new battles was the ridiculous and unnatural fight between man and woman. Libertarianism already provides for equality of these sexes. The cornerstone of our creed says that all humans are created equal, that we all have the same unalienable rights granted by the Creator, including life, freedom, and ownership. All that this radical feminism agenda has led to is greater state intervention to hinder the economic process, giving a job to bureaucrats who have not contributed anything to society. Examples, ministries of women or international organizations devoted to promoting this agenda. Another conflict presented by socialists is that of humans against nature, claiming that we human beings damage the planet, which should be protected at all costs, even going as far as advocating for population control mechanisms or the bloody abortion agenda. Unfortunately, these harmful ideas have taken a strong hold in our society. Neo-Marxists have managed to co-opt the common sense of the Western world, and this they have achieved by appropriating the media, culture, universities, and also international organizations. The latter case is the most serious one, probably, because these are institutions that have enormous influence on political and economic decisions of the countries that make up the multilateral organizations. Fortunately, there's more and more of us who are daring to make our voices heard, because we see that if we don't truly and decisively fight against these ideas, the only possible fate is for us to have increasing levels of state regulation, socialism, poverty, and less freedom, and therefore will be having worse standards of living. The West has unfortunately already started to go along this path. I know to many it may sound ridiculous to suggest that the West has turned to socialism, but it's only ridiculous if you only limit yourself to the traditional economic definition of socialism, which says that it's an economic system where the state owns the means of production. This definition, in my view, should be updated in the light of current circumstances. Today, states don't need to directly control the means of production to control every aspect of the lives of individuals. With tools such as printing money, debt, subsidies, controlling the interest rate, price controls, and regulations to correct the so-called market failures, they can control the lives and fates of millions of individuals. This is how we come to the point where, by using different names or guises, a good deal of the generally accepted political offers in most Western countries are collectivist variants, whether they proclaim to be openly communists, fascists, Nazis, socialists, social democrats, national socialists, Democrat Christians, Christian Democrats, neo-Keynesians, progressive, populist, nationalists, or globalists. At bottom, there are no major differences. They all say that the state should steer all aspects of the lives of individuals. They all defend a model contrary to that one which led humanity to the most spectacular progress in its history. We have come here today to invite the rest of the countries in the Western world to get back on the path of prosperity, economic freedom, limited government, and unlimited respect for private property are essential elements for economic growth. And the impoverishment produced by collectivism is no fantasy, nor is it an inescapable fate. But it's a reality that we Argentines know very well. We have lived through this. We have been through this. Because as I said earlier, ever since we decided to abandon the model of freedom that had made us rich, we have been caught up in a downward spiral, as part of which we are poorer and poorer day by day. So this is something we have lived through, and we are here to warn you about what can happen if the countries in the Western world that became rich through the model of freedom stay on this path of servitude. The case of Argentina is an empirical demonstration that no matter how rich you may be, or how much you may have in terms of natural resources, or how skilled your population may be, or educated, or how many bars of gold you may have in the central bank, if measures are adopted that hinder the free functioning of markets, free competition, free price systems, if you hinder trade, if you attack private property, the only possible fate is poverty. Therefore, in concluding, I would like to leave a message for all business people here and for those who are not here in person but are following from around the world. Do not be intimidated either by the political class or by parasites who live off the state. Do not surrender to a political class that only wants to stay in power and retain its privileges. You are social benefactors. You're heroes. You're the creators of the most extraordinary period of prosperity we've ever seen. Let no one tell you that your ambition is immoral. If you make money, it's because you offer a better product at a better price, thereby contributing to general well-being. Do not surrender to the advance of the state. The state is not the solution. The state is the problem itself. You are the true protagonists of this story. And rest assured that as from today, Argentina is your staunch, unconditional ally. Thank you very much, and long live freedom. Damn it.
So everyone pushes college, and I went to college. I have a master's degree. I make very good money for my age. My husband did not go to college, and I've talked about this on here before, and I don't think you understand. I don't think you understand it. So I'm going to throw it into perspective for you, and I say it not to brag, but to hopefully help any of you. I have a college degree. He has a high school diploma. He went to trade school right after high school. He got his certificates and everything. And here we go. So this past July, he had already brought home more than my gross salary this year. Come December, he will have quadrupled my salary. Quadrupled it. If he decides to pick up overtime on a weekend, a 2-day weekend, if he picks up overtime, he brings home that weekend, just in those 2 days, more than I make in a 2-week check. I have a master's degree. He has a high school diploma. So that reason right there is why I will not push college on anyone. If you think that college is not for you and you want to try a trade school, obviously look into it, see if you think that you have what it takes, and then 100% do it. Do it. I don't think that enough people are talking about this. And it is 100% worth it if you stick with it. He's been doing it for 8 years, so obviously he has made his way up the ladder. But if he leaves his job today, 100% guarantee he will make the exact same amount of money wherever else he decides to go. I cannot stress it enough. I can't stress it enough. I am so jealous. Like, he doesn't have student debt. Nothing. And he's quadrupling my salary in 1 year.
Stuff to think about, folks, as you have family members and kids and, you know, just the younger generation that are coming through the ranks now themselves and need to figure it out. College is not the answer. It really isn't. It really isn't. Now let's watch this.
I mean, ecocide as a word is becoming better known around the world, and the concept is generally mass damage and destruction of nature.
Now, how many of y'all have ever heard of ecocide before she just said this? I know, I never heard of it. And I'm pretty well learned. So they're just making this stuff up this year.
But legally speaking, what our organisation and other collaborators aim to do is to have this recognised legally as a serious crime. Because one of the issues that sort of pervades all of this discussion is that we have a kind of...
How convenient.
Cultural, very ingrained habit of not taking damage to nature as seriously as we take damage to people and property. And that, I mean, you know, if you're campaigning for human rights, at least you know mass murder, torture, all of these things are serious crimes. But there's no equivalent in the environmental space. And so, you know, unlike an international crime like genocide that involves a specific intent, with ecocide, what we see is actually...
Interesting that she would mention genocide and not any other side.
What people are trying to do, what businesses are trying to do, is make money, is farm, is fish, is do all of these things that are producing energy and so on as well. But what's missing is the awareness and the conscience around the side effects, around the collateral damage that happens with that.
Let's see what this Freemason Encyclopedia, the 33 degree, says about atheism. One who does not believe in the existence of God. Such a state of mind can only arise from the ignorance of stupidity or a corruption of principle, since the whole universe is filled with moral and physical proofs of a creator. There's a saying, symbolism will be their downfall. Well, this is a depiction of the earth, and every ancient cosmology of our time has depicted the same thing. I'll explain in a second. It's all the same thing. I just typed in ancient cosmology, and these Egyptians, the Israelites, you can just, the list goes on. They all depicted the same thing. So did the Freemasons. But if you read the book Morals and Dogma from Albert, you can just read a little bit of this, but pause to read. They're talking about the square and compass and why they use that.
So as you guys can see, everything's out there if you want to find it. Now let's watch this one. Why do they silence non-pig pharma cancer remedies? Let's listen in.
Heard of this? Tumor gone? Probably not, because the man that made this natural remedy went to prison for 6 years. He was sentenced in 2017, and it is completely natural. And I'm going to tell you the story of this man, because even though it was in 2017 and his 6 years is up, this needs to be spread, and people need to be awakened about how bad the world we are living in is. So this stuff is called Tumor Gone. If you Google it, you can't find it. You can't buy it anymore because it was curing cancer, tumors, skin disorders, and infections. So let me tell you something. The guy that made its name is Samuel A. Girard. He is from Bath County. And in 2017, he was sentenced for, I will read it to you, obstructing a federal agency and for making and selling herbal health products that were not adequately labeled as required by federal law. Mind you, Amish people, when they are born, they're not part of the state government. They are not part of that, okay? They're not born with birth certificates. They don't have social security cards. They have nothing to do with the FDA at any time. They can sell their homemade bath soaps. They can sell all this stuff. That doesn't have to be FDA approved. So why does this? Oh, let me tell you why. Because it was curing cancer and taking tumors away and infections, and it fucks with big pharma. That's why. The ingredients in this is bloodroot, galangal root, sheep sorrel, if I'm pronouncing that right, red clover blossom, geranium, cedarwood, beeswax, and olive oil. Okay. The FDA said that the extract of bloodroot had corrosive effect on human skin, according to an indictment, right? And Girard argued that his products weren't subject to federal Drug Administration oversight because they were herbal remedies, not drugs. Secondly, he also argued requiring FDA approval of his product infringed on his religious freedom. Old order Amish seek to insulate themselves from the modern world, including modern pharmaceuticals. And the jurors rejected his defense. They convicted him of conspiring to federal officers, obstructing a proceeding before a federal agency, failing to register with the FDA as required, tampering with a witness, failing to appear before a hearing, and distributing misbranded drugs in the matter of Tumor Gone. The jury decided that the product label didn't have adequate warnings against its use in cases. When using it would be dangerous and it would endanger health when used in the dose and manner suggested on the package. This man had 27,000 people sign a petition for him to release him from jail. Didn't get very far. Wonder why.
Nature of the beast when we all acquiesce. Let's keep it moving, folks. Fenbendazole makes another appearance. Let's tune in.
So do you mind to tell me your name and you do have cancer before, right?
Yes.
So can you tell me the story, please?
My name is Ernest Best, and I was diagnosed with stage 4 highly aggressive plasmatoid carcinoma cancer, and I was told I had 6 months to live, and there was nothing they could do for me. Chemo, radiation, no kind of treatments. They told me to go home and die. And so I quit my job and came home, and I'd done some research into cancer and found a story about Joe Tipton from Edmond, Oklahoma, who the veterinarians had told him about the dog dewormer with the drug fenbendazole in it that had killed his cancer. He's still alive today, 5 years later. And so I watched his videos and stuff. I started doing more research. I went to Tractor Supply and bought $250 worth of Safeguard dog dewormer, and I started taking it. I went and had PET scans, CAT scans, MRIs, and exploratory procedures up into my bladder. The tumor died. I passed the tumor out, and I'm totally cancer-free today because of the drug fenbendazole.
Okay, that's the dog medicine.
That's the medicine that's in the dog dewormer. It's called fenbendazole. Fenbendazole.
Okay, so we can buy this medicine online.
You can buy the pills from Amazon. You can get 444 milligram pills. You can get 90 of them for $109.
Okay, so we have to
Take one in the morning and one at night.
Okay, one in the morning and one in the night, right?
Yes.
Okay.
That's what I started. In the dog dewormer, I've done 2 a day, 1 package in the morning, 1 package at night. I went to OU Cancer Center and they done 4 CAT scans. They didn't see no cancer.
So how the doctor says after that?
They said, I don't know how to explain it.
Just like they say that it's this miracle.
They say it's a miracle. My urologist.
How about that? They can't explain it. What's new? Whoop-de-doo. And let's check this out. Would you try Canna Honey? Now, I know I would. Incredible. Let's see. Canadian stuff. Let's see what's going on with the Canucks.
Hi, I'm Canadian, where we're trying to make it almost impossible to get any kind of vitamins or supplementation, but it's totally legal to have up to 2.5 grams of heroin or methamphetamine. Hey, I'm Canadian, where if you disagree with our political views, we'll call you a white supremacist, freeze your bank accounts, and beat you with horses in the street. Hey, I'm Canadian, and we don't like opposing views here, so you actually can't even watch independent news media on social media platforms, and we're about to take down podcasts and even Netflix shows that the government doesn't like. Yes! Hi, I'm Canadian, where it's way easier to get medically assisted suicide than an MRI or psychotherapy. Hi, I'm Canadian. It's really cold here. We have some of the coldest winters, which is why we are pursuing net zero, because we actually use fossil fuels to heat our homes, and we don't have alternative ways of heating our houses. That work? Hi, I'm a Canadian, and if you're a journalist that even thinks about interviewing one of our high-ranking officials, you'll go to prison.
Wow, so that's Canada. How about that? Let's check out what's going on with DNA tests in Israel. Is it not only illegal, it's illegal to show the results of a DNA test or to talk about it if you got a DNA test anywhere else in the world. Let's check it out.
DNA tests are illegal in Israel. Ask me why.
It's even illegal in the state of Israel to obtain this. And if you do obtain it, it's illegal to show it and or talk about it. Ladies and gentlemen, my DNA. Now you might ask yourself, why is it illegal to obtain this in the state of Israel? Because it proves through your DNA that Jews around the world have no ancestral ties to the land of Israel.
I mean, duh. It doesn't take a PhD or an article from a Jewish newspaper to tell you that Caucasians practicing a religion aren't native to a place where people have been brown for millennia.
This TikTok caused a storm online, with many debating what his results, which show no trace of being from Palestine or the Middle East, despite being Jewish, mean. Yet in the state of Israel, getting hold of a genealogical DNA test is highly restricted. Yet Dov Aharonov and the Jerusalem Post reported in 2019 that Israel's genetic information law blocks people from buying them from local pharmacies.
I guess Uber Zionists think that if you just throw enough money at troll farms, you don't let people Google 23andMe in Israel, that they'll forget that they're not Middle Eastern. Like, it's not Jesus of Williamsburg, it's Jesus of Nazareth, right? I mean, that's fine. Like, there are dark Jews. There's Jews from Brazil, there's Jews from Ethiopia, and up until the 19th century, everybody was living in Palestine pretty peacefully. Well, I guess until the Nakba, when they got displaced or killed alongside the Muslims and the Christians. I guess even back then, in the middle of the desert, if you have a brown neighbor, I guess property values go down. I don't make the rules, but they sure as hell are racist as So then, if Caucasian Jews don't come from the Middle East, where do they come from? I do not want to be called anti-Semitic, even if I've got Harvard in the background. So I'm just going to let another Ashkenazi geneticist tell you where you come from.
Surprisingly, GPS took us to northeastern Turkey. At first, we did not understand the results, but when we looked at some old books, we found 4 ancient villages named Iskenaz, Eskenaz, Ashenaz, and Ashkuz, names that may be derived from the word Ashkenaz. This place resides on a hub of trade networks. This is where Silk roads and other trade routes converge.
That's Aaron Al-Hayek. He's a Jewish geneticist from Johns Hopkins who wanted to figure out where Caucasian Jews come from because, like map out genome, get ahead of diseases. His contact in Israel is Dr. Aurelia Oppenheim. She's a geneticist in the University of Jerusalem.
Oppenheim. Interesting name. We'll keep on moving.
And she runs the anti-aging department. And for a while, the government called both of these two Nazis. Would you like to know why? Because they both figured out where Caucasian Jews come from. Wink, wink. They're 40% Turkish and, newsflash, 40% Mongolian. As if the lactose intolerance didn't give it away. Like, hold on. Do you understand what this means? Like, okay, sure. Like, you don't have any ancestral tie to Israel, but like you don't have yellow fever. You're just dating your own race. Like real talk. What do you see in this picture? Like, is it a pierogi or is it a dumpling? Like, you say gefilte fish. I just see fish balls without the soup. Like, brother.
Yo, that was funny. Let's see what these wackos are talking about in this 15-second clip.
End to this war. The way to get there is that if we want that to happen, a peaceful, just end to this war, the way to get there is more weapons to Ukraine. So the more credible we are in our military support, the more likely it is that the diplomats will succeed.
So the diplomats succeed by handing weapons off to other entities to do the fighting. How about that? Oh, damn. Well, let me see what the hell I just did, because that wasn't supposed to happen. Give me a second, guys, so I can reopen that window. Recently closed. Damn it, I don't think that was it. Recently closed. Alright, let me just click on one of these. Nope, that's not it. Let's try this. Alright, that wasn't it either. Oh no, that was it. Alright, that was the last clip apparently, and I just was not aware. So I'm disappointed that I don't have more clips to share. However, let's just be cognizant of what these people are willing and capable of doing, right? Because that's ultimately what this is all about. Understanding the capacity for destruction and how it could just come to your door instantly. Because as you just heard, they don't have any qualms dropping bombs on anybody. And these are things to just know and be aware of. Because let me tell you guys, I'm pretty sure people in Iraq and Afghanistan would have appreciated some kind of notice, because they, at that time, did not have the communication networks that they have now. So it was an overnight thing. And you guys have more than ample notice, because the more closer they are to complete failure, which is what's happening, the closer they're going to get to more destruction and mayhem. So with that, bid you guys adieu. Peace. Right? The reality is that I want to be rich as fuck. There's only one way to be rich as fuck. That's by sitting on your ass the longest. That's it. That's the secret. The Godwell told you. Richard done told you. I done told you. Kareem done told you. Maddie done told you. Everybody done told you. Everybody done told you. These motherfuckers still acting like they don't know. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
100% safe. There's plenty of games left.
Valiant done told you. Yo, everybody said it. Man, hey, you know what it is, man? Everybody done told you. Y'all deep. Everybody.